That's me in the very beginning. Now I am a baby and getting zoomed from my mom to my birthday. I don't remember a lot about my younger life, but I remember it was fun and I felt so safe. My mom and dad always happy. I guess my mom's sister was mad that my dad was so great, so she called the police and said he hit my mom. We were all reading and they came. I heard my dad yelling, "There, no way!" My mom was crying loudly. Some lady took us away. The court said my parents abused and neglected us. They only loved us. The caseworker lied. I never saw my parents again. I'm still hoping one day they come. I am a victim of CPS and so are my parents. We need to find justice in all of this madness for all of us that are being abused. It's not fair. Every kid I know has a mom and dad. I know they miss me. I bet they fight every day for me to come home.
Don't get caught like us. Know your rights.
In the United States, CPS makes upwards of $3 billion per day on trafficking and selling our children. The corruption may start with the caseworker, but goes through the judicial system, passing the governor through the Senate and into the White House. The entire system has a hand in the business known as CPS.
Our children are stolen every minute of a 24-hour day. They are being robbed of their innocence, their trust, their happiness. As parents, we are isolated and betrayed by a government we trust. States are balancing budgets on kids' lives. Only 12% of the kids taken will be reunified. Title IV funding is being riveted with fraud.
We need to stop CPS and abolish CPUthis.com is leading the way. Join us.
All right, people, here and there. Welcome to Tuesday evening, March 26th, 2024. I am Darren Quay, the CPS Punisher. I welcome you to CPS Victims Hunting Justice. You know, the news is going on with the P. Diddy thing, and, you know, it's saying that he's harboring sex trafficking. Hold on a minute, my cat's causing all kinds of hell. Sorry about that. P. Diddy is causing all kinds of hate and discontent with the human trafficking thing, sex trafficking thing. And that's great news for us because that's giving limelight to what we have going on as far as CPS and what's going on, because it's all going to be linked back to that one way or the other, as we read yesterday. But in the meantime, what do we do, right? In the meantime, we have this fight on our hands that we still have, and all of us have been fighting for quite some time. This fight doesn't stop for us parents that have been fighting this for the past 2, 3, 5, 10, 12, 20 years. We have some people that have done, have done that. And, well, there are groups out there that will help you in your fight against these things. We just need to learn how to utilize them. And this goes back into what I always say about bringing people together. Let's get together as one solid group. Let's make this thing a one solid team unit, opposed to all of these little micro groups everywhere. We've got to do this, people, because without all of the knowledge conglomerated together in its whole, we're never going to make it. This is an unlimited budget, an unlimited mass amount of people. There are more caseworkers in CPS than there are IRS agents. Let that sink in for a minute. More caseworkers in the United States than there are, and they are IRS agents, and that's in itself is just astonishing, because you would have thought that IRS overwhelmed that area just because of the sheer power that they have and the sheer mass of information and things that they pass through. So, I mean, just let that sink in, that the American people are starting to be overrun. The families are starting to be overrun by a multiple amount of people that are just graduating college, that are all given God badges, that are all allowed to make decisions on a whim that will change your life ultimately. There's just too much power given to too little of an adequate of a person or a bunch of people to make changes in your life that are so damn detrimental. That all being said, let me bring in my co-host here, Melissa, and then we got Herbert backstage here. Let me get Herbert in. And Melissa, how are we doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you doing, Darren?
All right, let's pull Herbert in here. Herbert, how we doing, my buddy? Herbert, the law enforcement crew. How we doing?
Good. How we doing?
We're doing good, Herbert.
Okay, good. How you doing?
Herbert, we got some good stuff tonight. We got well, Melissa, why don't you go ahead and give the intro? I know we're waiting for one more. We're waiting for Elizabeth to come in. So let's just give her another second here. But Herbert, tonight we got a group. They're known as the National Action Network. Okay. We have the Middle Tennessee representation right now, I believe was who it will be. They do a lot in the civil rights area, like cops, Herbert, that do wrong to people. And they're delving into the CPS world as well. Whoa, we lost Herbert. He went down.
Herbert's still here.
Oh, there he is.
I'm still here.
All right, good.
Yeah, I'm still
here. All right, so we got that. Melissa, do you want to talk a little bit more about what they do before we bring in Cheryl? And we're waiting for Elizabeth. Yeah. But do you want to talk a little bit more about that before we bring Cheryl in?
Yeah, sure. Well, no, I'm here. Sorry, I had Elizabeth on the other line trying to walk her through the login. But anyways, National Action Network is they're a nationwide organization to help fight for the rights of families for all kinds of reasons. Not just, families against CPS, but police brutality, all kinds of, just stuff across the board, bar none.
Have they always worked with CPS, or is this a new thing that they're starting to crack their hands in?
Well, it's where CPS is going. I mean, they're making it a huge thing. So, I mean, honestly, I would say bring Cheryl in and let her put the story out there.
All right, Cheryl. To nobody left. Hey, Cheryl, how are you? Can you hear us, Cheryl? Oh no, we have a Cheryl ear problem. Cheryl, are you there?
I can't hear him. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Can you hear me, Cheryl?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
You can't hear me.
I can't hear Darren.
Oh wow, that's a shame. You're the best sounding voice there is.
Yeah, okay. Hey, Cheryl, why don't you go ahead and start just explaining who you are, what you do, how you help better Tennessee.
Okay. So I'm Cheryl. I'm here in Nashville. I'm with the Middle Tennessee National Action Network. And we do a whole lot here, and lately we've been working on a lot of CPS cases. Here in Tennessee, they call it DCS, and there's a lot of trauma, tragedy, and all kinds of stuff that happens here. Currently I have about probably 15 cases of DCS case that we've been working with families and working on it. I just went through a ordeal with some of the attorneys here in Nashville, and we did a advocacy training, and I got certified to become an advocate, because I want to be able to go in these homes and talk with the children, make sure they're okay, work with the family, see how we can help speed up the process of getting them back home. Because if you know, the rules and the contract says that the whole object of this is to get the kids back with the family. So that's what we go in and try to make sure happen, and make sure that the family is doing whatever it is that they're telling them to do to get them back home with their family, their parents, perhaps.
Cheryl, can you hear me now? Can you hear me at all? Can she hear me? No, she doesn't hear me, does she? Hey, Melissa, do you want to ask Cheryl if she knows that the return rate for children right now for reunification is 12%?
Hey, Cheryl. You still, for some reason, cannot hear Darren, and I'm not sure why, but he asked if you knew about the return rate of children being like only 12%. And are you seeing that same kind of thing there in Tennessee?
Well, so right now, it's a lot of them. It's a lot of families that's not getting their children back, or for one reason or another, it's a big thing. So my first episode that I had with DCS, it's a family that came from Atlanta on their way to, and when he was him and his wife and the 5 children were in their vehicle. Now in Atlanta, they said that marijuana is they license, it's legal, and in Illinois it's legal, and so they were coming through Tennessee, and when they came through Tennessee, they were pulled over, and because they were pulled over, the guy told them, "Tell me where the drugs are, and if you could tell me where the drugs are, and then I won't call DCS and have them to come and get your children." So he tried to threaten him, which he called DCS. And when he called DCS, he was like, I have a family here with 5 children. And then he said, but let me call you back. And he hung up, and he told, this is the state trooper. And he said, now you tell me where the drugs are, or I'm going to call DCS back. He said, well, you can look in my car. I don't have anything else. And they towed his car up, did everything. There was nothing else in there. And so he called DCS and told them, that's okay. You don't have to get the kids. I'm just going to give them a citation and send them on. They said, no, sir, you're going to bring them kids to me. I'm down here. Bring me those kids. And so the man had to figure out what he had to do to get this mother and those kids down there. So they put the father in the police car and told them, the mother, she can follow them to the station and she can go and bail him out. When she got to the station, they started removing her children. Told her, I need you to do a piss drop right now. If you don't do a piss drop, I'm taking your kids. Right in the police station? She told her, I'm not going to do nothing in front of everybody. I'm not doing this. And they took her kids, put them in a white vehicle, and they disappeared with them.
That was in the police station.
What'd he say?
In the police station?
He says that's in the police station they did that to her?
They did that in a police station. And most of the folks that was in there, they had on black shirts and khaki pants. So she don't know if they were police, who they were. And then the van that they put all of her children in was just a plain white van. And so she had a 3-month-old that she was breastfeeding, and she had the other 4 kids from the age of 2, 3, 5, and 7, and then the 3-month-old. And they took them all and went away with them. And the next day they gave them court hearing, and they told them they had to do a hair follicle, and they did a hair follicle, and the hair follicle came back in 10 minutes. And you ain't never in life ever heard of a hair follicle coming back to no one in 10 minutes.
No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way.
What'd he say?
I'm sorry that you can't hear. It just doesn't work that way. For anybody that's listening, that you can all hear me.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
Right.
So when the hair follicle came back, when it came back in 10 minutes, it said that they had meth, cocaine, marijuana, all kinds of stuff in the system. And so they said that they're going to do an emergency takeaway. So they took the children away, gave them to some family. The family had the kids for 2 weeks and said they could no longer keep them. They had to split them all up. And then that's when, as me as an advocate, doing the work that we do, I told them no. I told them, give me all of the kids. So they had to do my background, they had to do my house study, they had to do all of that. And then I got all 5 of the kids. And I had the kids until from March the 1st of 2023 until April the 13th, because we did everything in our power to get them kids back home to their parents. And we did that successfully, got those kids back home. So it's just, if you stay on it and you keep and you let them know that you're not going to do this. And after all of that, when we got those kids back home, and we had the news media, we had YouTube, we had Facebook, we had everybody involved, everybody. And this is Coffee County in Tennessee. They didn't want this pressure. They didn't want any of that. They released those kids, and they called Georgia and told Georgia they need to open up a case with this family. Georgia called that family the next day and told them, we don't want no parts of this. No parts of this, and closed that case right up. And when they did that, they the man that did the hair follicle, he resigned from that job that he's been in for 18 years, and he resigned. He said, I told them that doing a drug test is not admissible in court. But he's been with them for 18 years. So how many other families and people that went through that and was charged and went through the same stuff?
That's crazy.
Hey, Darren.
Yeah.
Hey, I have Elizabeth on the phone here on my side.
Okay, cool.
I really want to hear her.
You'll be able to hear her. Go ahead.
No, hey, Cheryl. Hey, you know what? Tell Cheryl to go out and come back in. Maybe that will work. Maybe it'll reset.
Hey, Cheryl. Darren says log off and log back on, and maybe that'll fix your microphone issue of not hearing him.
Okay.
You there, Elizabeth?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, good. Can Elizabeth hear us? We're good there?
I can hear.
Yes, she
can.
can.
Hear me?
Oh, she's back. Yeah. Look at that. She hears now. All right.
Okay.
That must be an amazing feeling, huh? When all of a sudden I can hear. Either that or you can be like, Darren, shut up. Can we mute Darren, please?
Right.
All right. So we got everybody here. Kitty, come on, get down. That's my new cat. She's got the run of the litter here. So back to what we were just saying there. I'm looking this up right now, the facts, because I know for a fact that you're not getting a hair follicle test back in 10 minutes. Not to mention that
a hair follicle test, I think, takes about 48 hours to...
No.
I would say more than that.
It takes between 4 weeks to a month to get a...
Right, but I mean the actual test itself on the follicle, to dissolve it, to test it, to to section it.
It
It takes about 48 hours to actually test the whole hair follicle. So plus you got shipping and receiving and handling and waiting in line. So yeah, it's anywhere between 2 weeks and 6 weeks on average.
Yeah, so the courts told them that they can go and get their own hair testing done, and it took us almost a month before theirs to come back. And when it came back, it showed there was absolutely nothing in her system, and it was just the marijuana in the dad's system.
Just like they said.
Just like they said.
Now, what happened from? So you found this out? Was this after, or before? Like, what was the time frame in there when that they got that hair follicle results back from their own doctors to show that what they used to remove the children was wrong?
It was a month. It was a month later. That happened in February. It was March the 28th is when all of the hair follicles and everything came back, and then we had to hire a doctor to come on and explain everything in her testing. And her baby was 3 months, so she had a C-section and all of that. So even the medicine that she had from the C-section, it didn't even show up because it was out of her system by then. But the baby was only 3 months.
Oh wow!
So
this woman, on top of that, she lost the baby for the first couple of months of its life too.
Yeah, the baby was about 6 months when she got him back.
Wow. Hold on a second. I'm gonna bring Herbert. Let's see if Herbert got his reverb thing done here. He wants to come in and ask a question here. Herbert, let's see if this reverb got handled. Go ahead, Herbert. Come on in.
Hi,
Herbert.
Cheryl. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Okay.
All right.
I got a question for you.
Yes.
I understand about the hair follicle. I understand she didn't want to pee in the cup. But you said that drugs is not submissible in court. But if she peed in a cup, that would be submissible.
No, drug tests, drug
No.
screens are not admissible in court. Drug tests are admissible in court, and only if they go through the right chain of command or the right chain of possessions. They're done in a proper place. They need to be done in a lab. Like, for instance, in a police department, those tests are not admissible. Those roadside pee tests,
Okay.
they're not admissible. They can be argued to be removed from evidence because there's no chain of custody that's proper.
Okay.
That's what she's meaning by that.
Okay. So in other words, from the police station and making that the case, no. But if it was a court order and she went to the appropriate place, then that would be admissible in court.
And only if it's a test, not a screen. Screens are not admissible.
Right.
No, it had to be a test.
Right.
Right.
A test.
Only a doctor can facilitate a drug test.
Right.
And
Okay.
none of that happened. And they wanted her to urinate in the cup in front of everybody right there in the room, right there where everybody was.
No.
Okay. This department sounds like it has issues. Am I right, Cheryl? This department sounds like they have a whole lot, but besides CPS issues, they got all kinds of problems.
Well, you had someone there for 18 years doing their drug screening. And when the smoke got hot, he bailed out and said, I told y'all my testing wasn't admissible in court. So I've already told you all that. And he resigned and he left a job that he was at for 18 years.
How big is this department? How many officers they got? 100 or less?
How many office?
How many police officers?
How many police officers?
I have no idea. This is Coffee County, Tennessee.
All right. How many police officers, Darren?
You pull up that case, you'll see that whole case. We were all over everywhere.
Yeah, that case made quite a bit of news. It was all over headlines, and it was a pretty big deal. Now they've got a hefty civil action if they're pursuing it.
Yeah, they've already filed it. The mother already filed her lawsuit against the state of Tennessee.
So in Tennessee, you have that going against you already. You have uneducated, unknowledgeable staff that are trying to make people surrender themselves to their Fourth Amendment rights to be secure in their own bodies and all of that stuff So then you have that. You have them not going through the chain of custody when they're doing drug screens, which aren't admissible anyway. So you're embarrassing and harassing a family about that. That has no reason to. And then what else? You got, they're just all over the board. You guys, so you personally took those kids in?
Yes.
Holy smoke. You are an amazing person.
And I had all 5 of them.
Wow.
And took care of them. And their 5-year-old and the 7-year-old was so afraid, because now you just traumatize these young boys, black boys. You just traumatize them. And every time somebody knock on my door, the 5-year-old used to get scared and say, "Are they coming to get us? Can we stay with you? Do we have to leave?" You know, so those are the things that happen, and nobody looked at what happened to the children. Did you say Elizabeth is on the call?
She is.
Actually she is, but she says that she needs to get up really early for work, and she asked if she could come back on another night that she wasn't working.
Yeah, we can do that for sure.
Okay.
Oh, and to answer your question, Herbert, there is approximately 270 police officers in Coffee County for 110,000 residents.
That's a small department.
Yes, it's very small. But guess what? When we got there, we had most of the people that lives in Coffee County that was white people. They were standing there waiting for us to come, and they was like, "We with you all. We with you all." They did that to us. One lady said,
"Oh wow,
they have my children, and we've been trying to fight and get my children back for 11 years."
Wow, holy smokes!
I mean,
that's why I said. That's why I said that police department had some issues. I can hear it. There's some issues, and there's more than just child protective services. There's probably other issues going on there.
Of course it is.
So did you realize that child protective services was such a big deal?
I didn't know what they were until I got into this line of work.
Right. Because see, this is the problem that we're having, is that nobody understands the treachery that goes on. No one understands the destruction of the children. Just the sheer fact of them being removed from their safety net, the damage that is done that causes them a lifetime of harm. Just that simple procedure of them going in and forcefully removing them from a home. And I say forcefully because no parent ever agrees to this. They go in and they're forcing you to be able to take them kids.
This family was on their way to Chicago to a funeral and messed around and ended up in Tennessee because somebody wanted to play hero on the strength of these babies' lives.
Wow.
So they were going from Georgia. They were going for Georgia, heading up north through Kentucky, going through Tennessee. Is that correct?
No, they was leaving from Georgia, coming through Tennessee.
Yeah.
On their way to Illinois.
Yeah. So they're going to go from Georgia through Tennessee to Illinois.
Right. Not Kentucky, just Tennessee.
Just Tennessee. Okay. Okay.
Right. And ended up.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Ended up in the custody.
Wow. How many?
Do you know what the initial stop was for? What was the initial traffic stop for?
Driving while black.
Oh,
okay.
Because they had said that they pulled him over because the tints on his window was too dark and he was driving too slow in the left lane. But actuality is that he had a Georgia license plate in Tennessee.
Right.
And he had a Georgia license plate. He was tinted window. They couldn't see. They couldn't see he was black. So let's do this. He had tinted windows, so they couldn't see he was black.
But
so
let me tell you, this is what happened, and everybody needs to hear this. Everybody needs to hear this. Anytime the state troopers or anybody get behind you, they are already pulling your tags, and they know who you are, and they know if you have a record. They know anything they need to know before they even come to your window.
That's correct.
And when this young man was 17 years old, whatever he did, he ended up in jail for 11 years or 12 years. And he got out and he turned his life around, and he never been in any more trouble. He owns his own truck company. He does all of this. And because he was a felon, the police said, we got us one.
Yep.
Right.
That's what I was just getting ready to say. He was driving while felon.
Yeah.
No.
Well,
he was driving while black. Because when he
driving while black.
When he pulled him over and he let that window down, he told him, I need you to step out of the car. And he said, for what? Okay. And that's when it all went down.
Okay. But when the police was behind him, they ran his plate. They probably ran his record. And they realized he was a felon. He has dark windows.
He was black. And he was a black man.
That's what I'm
saying. What I'm saying is,
when he read his tags, it pulls up his name. It pulls up everything he needs to know about this driver.
Right. So they know he's black based on everything they need to know.
That's right.
Well, and over and above that, you have one of the biggest airports there is in Georgia. You have a lot of drug traffic that goes through Atlanta. So anytime you get an Atlanta plate or any type of Georgia plate crossing into Tennessee, even crossing into Alabama, they do take a little bit of scrutiny because there's a lot of stuff that passes.
There's drug traffic all over this country. Who are we kidding? These policemen are putting the drugs in the system. So they all know where the drugs are and they're doing it. So
listen my daughter lives in Georgia. She has a Georgia tag. She ain't never been pulled over. And her it's just who they want to pull over when they bring the tags and they know who you are.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, there's no way around it, and there's nothing you can clean up. That's it, face to face.
Right, because this guy probably had 7 police cars come up on him too. Where Granny Eldridge gets pulled over, it's just the one squad car that says, "Okay, honey, go move about your way." This guy had 7 on him just to. So tell me they didn't know.
They had 5 police cars. They made all of them get out the car and sit on the curb, which is one of the coldest mornings ever. And all of the kids and everybody had to sit on the curb for 3.5 hours.
Now, what about that, Herbert? If are they supposed to do that? Get the family out of the car?
I don't understand. You said for 3.5 hours they were out there?
3.5 hours. They waited for the dogs to come. The dogs didn't find nothing. They tow up the man's truck. There was nothing in the truck. They did everything that they could do to humiliate this family, and did not. Other than he had the 2 grams of marijuana that was in one of them Cirillo things that he smoked before he left Atlanta, and then he had it in his door. That was the only thing that they found was a little 2 grams of marijuana. And that's when they told him, tell me where the rest of the drugs is, or we will have DCS to come and get your kids.
Right.
That little bit of a crime was worth the horrendous memories and torturous behavior that these little kids will now bear for the rest of their lives because some jerk cop wanted to try to make a name for himself or hope that he was going to get something on this dude. All of this, these kids now have been destroyed.
No,
never again. No trust, no nothing.
The state trooper said, and he went on the news and he said, when I left that family, the family was still intact. He said, I told them that the nothing was going on, and they made me bring them in.
No, they can't. They didn't have to make him bring them in.
The DCS told him, you bring me them kids. I'm here at this station now, and you bring them kids here.
He could have said to DPS, I let them go. They're gone.
That's right. He could have said that, but he didn't. He told that mama to follow me to the station because he's gonna be booked, and you can bail him out.
So to make himself look better, so for him to look just not as bad, he made the family was intact. But we learned just a couple episodes ago that there's a big difference between these people. You don't actually have to report. Mandated reporting is mandated reporting, and there's penalties if you do and you don't. There doesn't sound like there's anything going
Right,
on there.
but bullying is something way different.
Yeah.
That's not even bullying. That's loosely using that stuff.
Yeah, but you see, there's a confusion here because number one, he said to the guy, he said to the guy, if you don't confess up, I'm gonna call CPS. He could have pretended he was calling CPS and never spoke to CPS. But that trooper spoke to CPS.
That's right.
He didn't have to speak to CPS.
He didn't have
Oh,
to.
yeah, we established.
Yeah, but
Well, anyway, let's start moving on anyway. So, Cheryl, what is it that you guys are looking to accomplish? Like with this family, you guys did an amazing job. Unfortunately, you know, I know, we all know here that this is not going to be the norm, that you're going to be able to just walk in, take these you know what I'm saying? Like, this is an awesome thing. Or maybe you guys did figure out a formula that will work. You know, maybe you truly did. But let's talk about what you guys actually did that made this happen.
We mobilized. We got on the ground. We put boots on the ground. We had people from everywhere talking about this story. We went from state to state to state to state talking about this trouble that happened in Tennessee. Do not want those cameras in their state. That judge told them to get this family out of our state and send them back to Georgia.
Awesome.
Because we mobilized. We put them on Front Street. We would not stop until them kids went back home.
That is awesome. Now, see,
I tell you what, between mobilizing and between other crooked things that's going on in Tennessee, the judge didn't want anybody to investigate other stuff.
Exactly.
There's a lot more going on in Tennessee.
It's a whole lot of stuff going on here.
Right. But the point is this, is that we need more, like you're saying, we need more people to roll up their sleeves and go down and start educating people, right? That's what this is all about, is educating people. Because Cheryl, you didn't know about CPS as much as this, you know, like I didn't. Listen, before my kids were taken, I will say this, I say it all the time, I am ashamed of saying it, but I will say it. I knew nothing about CPS. The only thing I knew is that if your kids were taken, then you were a sham as a parent, you didn't deserve it, and these people in this organization knows what they're doing. That's what I would have thought. Now, I know completely different. I was not educated about CPS. Had I been educated about CPS, I wouldn't have lost my daughter, because there's so much sham stuff done in this case. So you to be able to mobilize a group enough to shake their boots and to get them worrying, that's kudos to you. How did you do it?
Right here.
Yeah, all right.
And Cheryl, Cheryl.
My daughter.
That's your daughter?
My daughter, she was 6 years old when DCS brought her to my front door and said that they need somewhere for her and her sister to go until they can figure out what happened. And they'll be at my house less than 30 days. My baby's 17 years old now. She was 6 years old. They brought her to my house.
Awesome.
And this is my baby.
No, it's nice.
Yeah, and that's when I learned and knew about DCS, because it made me want to go and pull up her record to find out what's going on. And then when they brought her to my house and they dropped her off, her and her sister is 11 now. And they said they did a home study and they left, and I never saw them again. DCS never came back to check on them, to never do anything. I could have been a murderer. I could have been a rapist. I could have been anything.
Are you kidding?
But they never came back and checked on them. Never. They had me to sign the papers and everything. The judge gave the mother a year to get herself together. She couldn't get herself together, and the baby and they left them, and they've been at my house ever since. And so that's why I'm saying we have to have advocates to go in to make sure that all parties are doing what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, let's talk about advocating. Let's talk about what is it that your idea of advocating, what it's about? Tell people that don't know what advocates are. What do we got going on with the advocate stuff? Oh, we got people in the chat.
Learning what your rights are, knowing what your rights are, understanding what the law says. And I thank God for Melissa. Melissa has taught me a whole lot, which made it easier for me to go through this advocacy training because of the stuff that she taught me, how to pull up records, the stuff that she taught me was phenomenal. And
Melissa's a wealth of knowledge.
Yes. And then I took that to the training and I just blew them out the water. But I think this needs to be all around the world. If people, everyday people that says no, it can't happen. I don't want this to happen. What do we need to do? Get involved. Right. Get involved. We do court watch. Everybody sitting on them benches have to be elected. They're elected. They have to, so they got to come into the community and ask you for your vote. You have your own records of these judges. Mm-hmm. And you let them know. Well, I remember when you did A, B, and C. Now I'm going to tell the people who you really are. Now, am I going to let you run in this city? No, because you didn't do right by them babies. Mm-hmm. So
you're saying that's the election. So to get involved at the very base, the very beginning of this system, like right at your own neighbor's house, for instance, that's the formula. That's where to start. Stop trying to get involved with these huge senators that aren't going to return your calls. Get your boots on the ground with your local community, and then start to grow that way.
That's it. That's all you have to do. Listen, when you do court watch, you take 5 or 6 people, and you all go into the courtroom, and you just sitting there, and you have your pen and your notebook. You not saying not one word. All you doing is writing down what you see. Them people, them judges will be like, well, what are they doing in here? What's going on? And they gonna act right.
My judge would arrest me. My judge would have me arrested.
They have your
Oh.
All you do is report. The courtrooms are our rooms. The legislature, that's our room. People have to understand what they civic law is. When you don't understand it, then they walk all over.
Well, and honestly, I think a big important thing with advocating and helping these families is bringing media light to everything.
Everything.
Because, like me and Cheryl have talked so many times with these different families. They complain, well, the judge ain't doing this, the judge ain't doing that, the judge ain't doing this. I said, does the judge know? Same thing goes with the community. No one knows how the judge is screwing up if no one tells them.
That's right.
And like me and Cheryl was talking, some of these cases, it's as simple enough as go buy the front page of your local newspaper and put your own article in it.
That's right. Or you don't even have to wait for the news to come to you. You make your own news, like you're doing right now. You're doing right now. You don't have to wait for the Channel 5, Channel 4, Channel 2, because they're going to report what they want to report.
Right, they're not coming. Right, they're not coming.
They're not coming unless it's a good story for them.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, Darren, maybe you could throw up a sign-up list of people that would like to get qualified as advocates, because
we can put that on the CPS.com.
Yeah, because Cheryl's organization is going to be running classes to train people for advocacy work.
Yeah, let's talk about that, Cheryl. What does it take for people to get involved? What is your program about? So on and so forth.
We would. Middle Tennessee National Action Network, and we're a civil rights organization. In a civil rights organization, we help people with all kind of issues, with criminal cases. We have attorneys we have a team of attorneys that work with us. So when people call and tell me what's going on, and then I'll take all of their information, I'll talk with them, because most of the time people just want to talk. Most of the time people just want to vent. And when I finished talking to them, they forgot what they done called about. I had a young lady, I'm telling you, I had a young lady to come into my office and she talked to me for 4 hours. And I sat there for 4 hours and listened to her and her mama. A security guard shot her son in the back of the head.
Oh my God.
And he went to the DA's office and told him that the young man came up to him and he feared for everybody that was in the establishment, and that's when he shot him and killed him. And
wow,
what we saw was not the truth. It wasn't the truth. But the assistant DA never looked at the video, never did anything. She just took that security guard word fact as fact. And then told him he needed to go sign up and become a police officer so he could be covered if it ever came back to him. And this mother had all of these attorneys that told her that they couldn't take her case until that one attorney, and I told her, I really need you to just look at this case, just look at it. Went and reviewed the video with the assistant DA, and that assistant DA was terminated.
So you got things going on, girl. You know what's up. Like you make things. You get it. See, that's what we're about here. We're about things happening. We don't want to hear the stories that end in let's figure. We want action because we've talked long enough, right? Like we've talked long enough for the CPS stuff, and people are jumping on board. People like you. Well, I mean, you've been in there for a long time because your daughter and everything. But you know what I'm saying? Like people are waking up. And we need more to wake up, and we need people to do stuff. Write that letter. Stop talking about it. Write the letter. You know, go talk to your town manager, like you're saying. Go mobilize. Go run for your town manager. Go town council seat. Something. Get in there.
That's right. Now you done said a mouthful. Go run for those seats. Go. Them seats shouldn't be open. Every judge that's sitting on these bench is a human being. They have no more ideas than you have. Go run for them seats. Don't stop voting them in there just because you know that name. You do your research and find out who they are.
And honestly, if they're an appointed judge, like, you know, the jerk I'm dealing with, he's appointed. His election, because he was a year in when he was appointed. So next year will be his election year. Guess who ain't gonna get elected? And I've already darn sure made sure of that, because I have trashed his name all over our county.
Nope, that don't mean nothing. You have to mobilize. You have to call his feet to the fire. You have to go and get those people and tell them, people, listen, this is what this man did, and now he's out here wanting us to vote for him.
They know it. Our county knows his corruption. I've put together my own version of a newsletter. It's went out to the Democratic and the Republican committees here in our county. I go to all the luncheons. I even play the recordings of the judge talking crap. So and I've even exposed, and you don't know this, Darren, but you'll like this one. I have been able to drag up and actually expose where judge was tied into trafficking drugs through this county.
Perfect.
But listen, none of that matters if he got the money. If he got the money and don't have the people, his money gonna win every time. You got to get those people out and tell him, let's do. Who is anybody running against him?
I heard that there is going to be 2 running for that seat.
Then you need to put a forum on. And you need to go in the community and tell everybody, we're about to put a forum on and have all 3 of them to come and let them tell people who they are. And then that's when you can shame him. That's when you can let everybody in the community know how bad he is.
Yep.
Oh, hey, Cheryl, don't worry. I already planned to hold a whole big picnic and rally and invite your butt down here.
Okay. Yeah, that's
just it. It's shaking it up. The bottom line of all of this is doing it.
It is.
Doing it. Because we got so many people that are like, I'm gonna, and I'm blim, 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 blim. But then when it comes time, where are they? They're nowhere to be found.
You know what we did? We had a sitting judge, and you know it's hard to replace a sitting judge. But we had a judge, and he was a black judge. And this judge, he let this man that shot and killed a black guy, he shot and killed him, and the judge was on this police officer's side, and the judge let this police officer, he pled guilty and got 3 years, and then he told him that it's going to be concurrent, and he wouldn't get out until those 3 years. This man did a year and 3 months, and he was already going to be released. And everybody told this judge, you will never have this seat again. And we hit the ground and we ran and removed him from that seat. And we put a young woman, 4 years old, replaced that in the court.
Oh, wow. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Things are getting done up there with these shows. Cheryl, quickly here, because we're getting into that point. Talk about, Melissa keeps talking about you guys doing an advocacy for, and furthermore than that, before we get to that question, there's so much more to talk about. Are you available tomorrow night? You want to come back on tomorrow night? Maybe we get Elizabeth back in here too. But would you be all right with coming back on tomorrow night so we can get some more stuff covered? That would be great. That would be really awesome to have you on tomorrow night. But back to what I was saying. What does she mean when she keeps saying that you guys are trying to make advocacy and have the advocacy class? No. Son of a biscuit.
I think she's losing.
There
Oh,
we go.
there she
Hold on.
is.
We're back now. All right. Oh, they're doing it. They're so doing this.
Hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I was saying that
What?
that we have a young lady that's coming down here, and we have 32 people now have signed up to be in this advocate training class. And she's going to work with them, tell them what they need to do, give them all the rules, all the information, everything that they need to do. And it's going to be a 4.5 hour training, and it's going to be for 2 days. And on a Saturday and Sunday, and we have it for it's April 28th or May 28th. It's when
I think it's May 28th.
And that's when the first class is gonna happen, and then we'll start doing it. And I was telling her, because we have National Action Network all throughout the nation, and so we're gonna start doing advocate training through all of those chapters, and then bringing people on board to become advocate, so we can go in and advocate for people. We can't give you advice, law advice, but we can talk to the people's attorneys. People have to know what they need to tell their attorneys, because the attorneys work for you. You don't work for them. You tell that attorney how you want them to take care of your case. But you can't tell them that unless you know how to tell them what to do. And that's what we gonna be training them to know, what their rights are and what they tell their attorney how to do their case.
Mm-hmm. You are a spitfire, awesome person.
So can Cheryl come on tomorrow?
Yeah, we've established that one. We got her in here. She's in. But we are at that time. Cheryl, we're going to be back with you tomorrow night. Do you have any last words that you want to say? Hey, it's www.nanmiddletn.org. It's been up there on the thing. I'll make sure we put it up there one time. Is that where people can find out about the advocacy and everything?
Well, you can find out about the National Action Network, the Middle Tennessee National Action Network, the advocacy class. Once we get it started and get all of the information and everything, and then we'll be posting it, and then it'll have the next class and the next class and the next class, and where the location and everything will be.
All right. Cool.
Well, and Cheryl, aren't you planning to do some virtual classes too?
Yes. And I have an attorney. She has a advocacy training that she does, and that's the one that I went through. And she will basically tell you everything it is about knowing what your rights are and what the law says. And we work with the youth to make sure the youth know when you in school, you have the right to say, no, you can't search my bag, and stop talking and tell them get my parent and my attorney. And the schools can't do it. They putting all these resources in the schools, all kinds of stuff. So she teaches you that, and she's remarkable. And she does it through organizations and all of that also.
Awesome. Cool, Cheryl. Oh, before I let you go, so the answer to the question is this: hair follicle test is 1 to 2 days longer than a urine screen, anywhere between 48 to 72 hours, 3 to 5 days. There's no way that it's getting done in 10 minutes.
No way at all.
All right, cool, Cheryl. Thank you so much for being on. I will see you tomorrow. We'll all see you tomorrow night. And look forward to that because, man, it's going to get good. I can see it. Thanks, Cheryl.
Take care, Cheryl.
All right. That was good. I like her. She is now. That's a woman that's getting results. That's where you need more Cheryls.
Now, let me ask you: Does Cheryl spin out to other states, or right now it's just Tennessee?
Well, actually, so I work with Cheryl on a daily basis. Okay, I talk to Cheryl. Heck, I talk to Cheryl some days more than I talk to my own husband. But anyways, we do cases all over the country. For her, I've been helping families everywhere from Texas, Missouri. Actually, she was the one who came to me with a case where they removed the child in Texas. They terminated the parents' rights. The parent moved to Missouri. While after the system got done screwing up the kid 5 years later, because the kid was out of control, they gave the kid back to the parent in another state, and the parent couldn't handle the monster that the state created.
Wow.
And that's, I mean, literally, like anywhere. Actually, Darren, the case in Maine that I went up to Maine to handle, she told me, she says, hey, send me a ticket, I'll be on my way. She says, I'll go to the airport right now. Come on, I'll be in the courtroom with you guys.
But being said, she did say, what do they have? They have a national advocate, a national action network in every state, right? They have, that's what they
there's a couple states that they're limited to only one branch. So some of the other branches, kick in to help. But yes, we have people to cover the whole country. And if it's a really screwed up case that Cheryl can't figure out what to do, she'll just call and ask me, and we'll think up some harebrained idea, and then we'll get the attorneys on the line, and then we'll all put our heads together and figure out how to give direction.
That's what I'm saying.
Does she cover Arizona?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
So that's that.
Okay.
Melissa, you have any last things to say here before we shut it down?
Well, and the other thing, Darren, if they go to the Middle Tennessee Action Network website, there's a phone number listed on there. That's like a national crisis number. You can call for any problem anywhere in the country. And it'll be screened through and sent to the right level of help. Because some people call in with basic things. Tickets, a ticked off cop, something like that. But they will assess the correct level of help, and they will get your case on to someone who will be back in touch with you until they get it solved.
Now, do they?
They work closely with the NAACP too.
Oh, good. I mean, I don't know if we talked about this at all, but do they have a fee schedule? Like, what goes on with that?
No, that's a full nonprofit organization.
Okay. I guess this will be, I can ask you do they accept donations? Is there any thing like that?
They do accept donations, and you'll find all that information on their website. You can.
What about Iowa?
Every state.
What about Iowa? They cover Iowa?
They cover every state. You call the number for Middle Tennessee, or you call their main number. It don't matter. They will have you an advocate for your state, for your situation, who is familiar with your problem, who will come help you.
That's good stuff. You need to get more and more and more and more and more of that. And you know, her fire too. Her fire was amazing. You know, like she's really just, you know, like she could tell that she cares. They care. You know, there's a lot of these groups out here that, you know, they're there, they're doing things, but they're not into it. You know, like they're just not caring like all these other people. You know, like it's just.
What about TV? Is she on TV?
Yeah, right here.
Actually, she's done a couple radio things. She's been on the news a few times with some of the families that she's helped, and she's went out of her way to put herself in the limelight, and she tries to put herself in the news. You know, like how you have all these attorneys that they want to be front page of the media. Well, right. Cheryl's tried to put herself in the same position, so that when she walks into a courtroom with a family and sits down, that judge knows that she is in there because she means business.
Right. This is not to be messed around.
And if we can train advocates to these different counties and these different states and multiply the numbers, and you start making a name and a reputation, even if it's no more than sitting in the room wearing the organization's t-shirt, the judge is going to worry that they got to dot those I's and cross those T's and follow those rules, because it's going to be their ass. Because not only are we pushing to not get those kind of judges reelected, we're pushing to file the complaints against them.
Right.
We're looking to strip them of their bench for their wrongdoings, because children are not just dogs that you can trade because you don't like that puppy.
Correct. You can do that with puppies either. But.
And it's not connected to parent partnership.
No, they're their own thing, buddy.
Yeah, they're National Action Network is a huge organization that I think actually kind of originally was founded up in the like New York type area, and it built from there. Because I was reading some of the stuff on their main website, and they're huge. They really are, and they're tied in with some pretty influential people. And it's all about, supporting people at a national level.
Okay. Let me ask Carrie. Carrie, you have any other questions, Carrie?
They're out.
I've been bouncing off of Carrie's questions.
Oh, Carrie up there, yeah. Carrie,
yeah, that's you guys are not looking at Carrie.
Oh, no,
I'm looking at Carrie.
No, I've had Carrie right on my screen all night. That's why I keep putting her questions up.
Okay, wait. She just asked another question.
What did she ask, Herbert? Let us in.
It says Iowa, I can't see it too well, has parent something. Can you see it, Darren?
Let me see here. Hold on.
Iowa has parents who have been through CPS in their own. Oh, parent partner. I'm not familiar with them, but if you get on the Middle Tennessee website and you pull up the number off of it, and heck, if you want, for people who need it, Darren, you can always throw my number up there, because I can. All right. For anyone listening who needs it, 251-727-0402. Text me anytime, or call me during daytime hours.
Hey, are we going to start your show tomorrow? Did you want to get going with that tomorrow?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, so Melissa's going to have a new show tomorrow. It'll be her and remember we've been talking about it for a little while, but she's going to start her own new show tomorrow. I'm not sure what time yet, right? Do we figure that out? Did you want to do it during the day or night, or that's going to be continued, and we can figure that out, and people can just pay attention for that information for tomorrow.
So Carrie said that the parent partnership support is a joke, and that this sounds much better.
Oh yeah. No, if I remember right, I've heard of parent partnership. I have heard of them, but I've never heard much about them. They're kind of like the group of ombudsmen, where they're supposed to be there to advocate for the families, and different states call them different things, and they're kind of a federally funded advocacy 501c3 type deal. And funding to most of those organizations have been shut down because it's been proven that they back CPS and they back letting CPS steal the children.
Yeah.
What I can tell you that I know firsthand on all the fights, all the paperwork that I have put together and set down and drafted for Cheryl and the families that she works with, that she damn sure is not going to leave your family sitting on the sidelines.
That's good news right there. That's what we need a lot of.
And Carrie said something about they're supposed to do something between you and the worker. Yes, I was hired years ago against it because they are no different. I guess she means they're no different than CPS.
Yeah. Yeah, well,
Carrie,
they had a case in West Virginia just about 6 months ago where it was a Supreme Court case that ruled that the group of ombudsmen, which is also tied in with like parent partners, and I forget what they call it down here, but it's got a different name, same meaning down here in Alabama. They deemed that they were all in line with helping manipulate Title IV funding, and they have shut down the funding to those organizations. And technically, CPS is not supposed to be mass removing while these other organizations go unfunded because there was no one in the federal seat to watchdog CPS. And because CPS is just going to do what they want, now it's one less person that may save one kid. You know, they won't save a lot of kids, but every now and then they got to save one because they got to keep some form of number so that they can keep milking the same financial system that CPS is.
That's just the point of it. That's what they do, man. It's unfortunate. That's the fact. But guys, we are way over our time. So I appreciate all of this, you guys, and what you guys do, and we'll be back tomorrow night. Thank you very much, Melissa. Thank you, Herbert.
Hey, Darren.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's try to aim around 2:00 Central Time.
All right, 2:00 Central. So everybody heard it here first. 2:00 Central. Melissa will have her own show that she'll be on a couple days a week to start. Melissa, that's what we're gonna do. A couple days a week for stars. So we'll figure it all out as we go. We'll let everybody know. We'll pay attention to that. So, but as far as now, 2:00 Central tomorrow.
Carrie was just saying something about in her country, the parent partnership were funded with gift cards.
Oh yeah, they do that sometimes in other places. It's pretty disgusting that they trick these people like this. But we could talk all about that good stuff. But yeah.
Hey, Carrie, I just want to say something to Carrie. Carrie, you really should come on the show. I'm going to show you something, Carrie. Watch carefully. There's a button at the bottom where you could take yourself out. So you don't have to have yourself seen at all. And you'll be able to talk to us. Then you can push the button again and you could come back again.
It's like magic.
Or you can do like me and just find a really moving photo and just put it up on there anyways.
Exactly. She has Melissa has a photo with a parent and the two children. You could see me, Carrie, talking. When I push the button, the camera, you don't see me. I'm going to take myself off.
Herbert's here. Now he's not.
You don't see me at all.
All right.
That's right.
All right.
So, Carrie, I really think you should consider coming on the show because you do have a lot of good concerns and questions.
Well, honestly, if she would like, Darren, if she wants to throw your email up there, if she wants to shoot you an email, we'll make her first guest on my show.
Sure. Yeah, Carrie, there you go. You know how to get a hold of me, Carrie. You've got my email. If you want to be on Melissa's show tomorrow, that'd be really cool. 2:00 Central.
Melissa, you got to send me a link to your show.
Okay.
We'll get it out there. All right, guys. Thank you very much for tonight, and we'll be back tomorrow. This time, same place. But don't forget to check out Melissa tomorrow. There you go, guys. That's another day, another wrap. Things are happening. They're making it happen. And so is everybody else. I'm CPS Punisher. I'm out of here.